He said that Jesus Christ has risen, and he is the open door.
How you doing, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, where we talk about life, we talk about liberty, and yes, we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we show the world that as Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope you're having a good day, good week, wherever you're located. Just remember that this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. That's from Psalms 118, verse 24. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't come up that originally. That was from Michael Turk. Give a shout out to Hang Gang or Hang Time, his YouTube channel. He used to say that. I said, that'd be pretty neat. I always tell everybody when I start the show, hope you're having a good day, good week, wherever you are. And I just threw that in because this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And what a day. What a day. When I quote that, I think about the times and the trials that we go through as believers. Or just times and trials as we go with this nation. And if we remember that this is the day that the Lord has made. Now, I know a lot of people might say, well, Isaac, you're a creationist. You think God created everything. Yes, I do, and I believe it. I rather believe that than believe that a little speck of light came up and blew up 4.5 billion years ago. I rather believe in something created this than nothing. I was hearing my dad and my father-in-law talk this afternoon, and they made a good point. My dad made a good point. He was talking about it. He said they had I think a creationist or somebody that was real good with numbers made the comment that it's mathematically impossible for nothing to be made out of something to be made out of nothing. And look, I get a lot of pushback on that, especially from the left, who don't want to believe in a God. They remove God out of their platform. They remove God out of everything they do. So, the left will tell me, oh, you're ignorant. You're believing by faith. Really? I believe in the beginning God. They believe in the beginning rock. Just think about that, audience. The atheists believe in the beginning God. I mean, no, correction. I made it. Atheists believe in the beginning nothing, or in the beginning a rock. We believe, as believers, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Who's believing by faith? You're telling me a rock. Or you're telling me organic soup. Or you're telling me nothing. Let's go to the beginning. Because evolution opens up their books by saying, in the beginning, nothing. Nothing created this. I wonder who has... I think atheists have more faith than I do. I didn't mean to go off on that rabbit trail. But, sometime when I come behind this microphone, I feel the Lord lead me to say something, and I just go ahead and I say it. All right, so if this is your first time, you got a glimpse into my faith. Welcome to the Cajun Conservative Show, all you newbies. If you can, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button on the platform that you're listening on. I know some of my platforms that I'm on, they have different ways of you following the show. If you're on YouTube, please hit the bell that reminds you that an episode that's come out, and that helps me out more than the subscriptions help, the hitting the notifications for my shows. It gets you to watch it. If you could do that for me, I would appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, we're thick into political season right now here in Louisiana. We have a couple of candidates lined up for the next couple of shows, so we're pretty packed. I know for sure probably one show I'm gonna have 2 interviews, so we'll see how that works. And got some good things going on. Got some very good things going on here at the Cajun Conservative Show and BGS Media. Oh, talking about that merch, go ahead and check us out, bgsmediastore.com, and go buy some shirts to help us out. And also go check out our good friends. We're working on those ads right now. But Give-A-Derm. Give-A-Derm is a skincare product, all natural, woman-led company, conservative company. They don't use no preservatives or chemicals in their products. You can go ahead and check them out. I'm gonna put the description. I'm gonna put in the description a link to our affiliate code, so you can go ahead and get some merch from them, some skincare oils. I used it. My wife used it a few times. They went ahead and sent us some products, and we love it. We love the products, the lotions. My wife loves the lotions. I love the soap. It made our skin feel a lot better. So I'm going to put the link in the description. Go ahead and check that out. Give-A-Derm is a great company out of Tennessee. Great people that run it. And that's a little shout out to them. Start advertising that a little bit. They help us out here at the Cajun Conservative Show. If you type in BGS Media 10, by the way, you get 10% off of your sale. So you can go ahead and check that out. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the topics for today. That introduction was 5 minutes long. Cool, I'm long-winded tonight. I just got out of church at the time of recording this, by the way. So, so anyway, let's start diving into these topics right here. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that Donald Trump is going through a lot of legal battles. A lot of legal battles. You have the 4 indictments. That is the forefront of the media right now. That Donald Trump has been indicted, 2 federal, 2 states, 2 different states, 1 in Georgia, 1 in New York. And ladies and gentlemen, when you hear somebody gets indicted, and I've been there already as well. When you hear they're indicted, you automatically think they're guilty, but they're not. It's innocent until proven guilty. I can't say that enough on this program. You are innocent until proven guilty. It don't matter who it is. It could have been the worst criminal that you can imagine. Now, if they have the evidence there and people on the jury legitimately hear the evidence and say, yeah, he's guilty, the crime has been committed, that's when a person is guilty, after the trial, not before the trial. But we have some states, and I talked about this briefly in one of my segments, and I wanted to dive into this more on states trying to keep Trump off the ballot. It started off in New Hampshire. New Hampshire was one of the first states to go ahead and explore the option of keeping Donald Trump off the ballot for 2024. Now, granted, 2024 presidential election has not happened yet. Now, I don't know if they're trying to keep him off the primary ballots, but the way it's sounding, they want to keep him off the presidential ballot in 2024. It was New Hampshire. New Hampshire, last time I heard, has withdrawn their pursuit of keeping Donald Trump off the ballot, but 2 other states have jumped into this nonsense of stopping Donald Trump from being on the ballot, and that is Michigan and Arizona. Now, New Hampshire is very important because it's one of the first primary states. Michigan and Arizona, however, are swing states. And if you remember, in the 2020 election, Donald Trump lost Michigan and lost Arizona. And that swayed a lot of the votes. That swayed the presidential election. Those 2 states, because they were one of, I think it was Michigan flipped to red in 2016 for Trump, and then 2020 Georgia swapped over to Biden, and that's what gave Biden, that what really secured Biden the victory in 2020. So these states, why are these states trying to keep Donald Trump off the ballot certainly for 2024? Well, they believe he's an insurrectionist. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this goes back to January 6th of 2021, where the left believe that Donald Trump led an insurrection to the Capitol of the United States of America, and that he was the founder, I guess you could say, or the architect of January 6th, and he told people where to go and how to go after them, and they're saying that he is not eligible to be on the ballot because of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. What is the 14th Amendment? The 14th Amendment was brought about, if I'm not mistaken, after the Civil War. And I believe it's the 14th Amendment. It was after the Civil War, where it was so told that if you was a Confederate soldier or a Confederate general, to be more specific, you couldn't run for public office. Why? Because you led a war against the Union. The amendment is justified. You had men running all around the Civil War. They went up against the Union. So why elect a person or allow a person to run when you know that they came against you, the American citizen, American as a country? So I'm not debating Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. I'm not even debating the 14th Amendment. It's in the Constitution. And now, some of you on the left that are listening to this program, you might say, well, you see, you just justified New Hampshire, Michigan, and Arizona's claim. Donald Trump should not run, should not be on the ballot, just not in those 3 states, but any states, because he's an insurrectionist. No. There's a difference between the generals of the Confederate soldiers and Donald Trump. All them Confederate soldiers were convicted. You have to be a convicted insurrectionist to not run for public office. And see, this is the problem Michigan, Arizona, and New Hampshire has on the table. Donald Trump is not convicted of anything. Now, some on the left think and feel with passion that, yes, Donald Trump led an insurrection against the United States of America. You can believe that all you want. You can believe Donald Trump is guilty of all these crimes. But Donald Trump is not guilty. What, you trying to say he's innocent? I didn't say that either. The reason I'm saying Donald Trump is not guilty is because he hasn't went to trial yet. We already discussed on previous episodes of this podcast that they are trying to make sure he's off the campaign trail by the date they're setting. One judge, and I think it's on the insurrection case, that is setting the trial for May 2nd or something like that, right the day before Super Tuesday of 2024. Is that a coincidence? Possibly, but I don't believe so. But that's the trial date. That's when Donald Trump goes to trial. They're already saying this trial is probably going to last for 6 weeks. Donald Trump has to be present. So he's going to trial for that claim that he's an insurrectionist. But ladies and gentlemen, he has not been convicted. And even if he gets convicted, it goes to appeal. That holds the conviction, so he could still run. I could be wrong. If you're a lawyer, please comment at the bottom. Possibly he could still run for president. He could still run for president. I think that's the only thing you can't run if you're a convicted insurrectionist. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what pisses me off so much about this. Donald Trump has not been convicted of anything, but these states, they say we have a constitutional right to keep him off the ballot because of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. No, you don't. There's a little line in there. He is not convicted. He's not convicted of a trial. Of an insurrection. He is not convicted of any crime. That don't make him a felon. Him being indicted does not make him a felon. It does not make him guilty because he's been indicted. He should be on the ballot. Oh, no. He's an insurrectionist. He's an insurrectionist. You can believe that. You have the right to believe that in America. That Donald Trump's an insurrectionist. But if he hasn't been proven guilty, if it hasn't been proven in a court of law that he's guilty of an insurrection, he's not guilty, which he can be on the ballot. But ladies and gentlemen, it's funny how 3 states, very important states, mind you, Arizona, Michigan, and New Hampshire, all want to pull him off. 3 key battleground states, 3 big battleground states. And this is what it's about. This is why. And look, one of these, if I'm not mistaken, is a Republican. Now, I don't know if he's a never Trumper or I really can't tell you. But ladies and gentlemen, it's kind of funny. 3 states, 3 big states, Arizona, Michigan, and New Hampshire, all want to keep him off the ballots. Why? because they are key states. And Donald Trump is winning over 60% of the 60% in polls. That's just not one poll. That is several polls. Donald Trump is the clear front runner going forward. This is why they're setting trials during primary season, so they can stop him from talking to his. This is why they're putting gag orders. This is why they're trying to put a no fly. They're trying to make him a flight risk. This is why they're trying to do all this, to stop Donald Trump from reaching the White House in 2024. And ladies and gentlemen, when I see things like this, and like I said, I'm a DeSantis fan. I like Rob DeSantis. But when stuff like this happens, I start to wonder. I really do. I think every Republican, at least every conservative, should go ahead and give that thought that, look, if they're going after Donald Trump this much, we might need to start looking into maybe supporting him. Now, there's a lot of reasons why I don't like Donald Trump for president at the moment. But ladies and gentlemen, this right here, keeping a man off the ballot, or trying to keep a man off the ballot because he's an insurrectionist. And they're even quoting the Constitution, but the thing of it is, he's not convicted. All them Confederate soldiers were convicted of an insurrection. All them Confederate generals that was thinking, oh, we can run for president, or we can run for Congress, and we could change it the same way. We could stop and push stop the North's agenda and push the Confederate agenda. They were convicted. They were on the battlefield, leading troops to derail the United States of America, or in America as we know it. They were convicted. But Donald Trump has not been convicted. Now, you can, I'm going to push that point home. You can believe Donald Trump's an insurrectionist. You can believe that Donald Trump led this thing, that the riot of 2021 at the Capitol. But ladies and gentlemen, he's not convicted, so he should stay on the ballot. Now, if he gets convicted in the appeals process, then they go through all the justice way of doing it, and at the end of the day, the courts say, well, look, he's a convicted felon. I can say with all my heart, I don't think he is. But if he is, well, in the books, he's a convicted felon if he gets convicted of an insurrection or any other crimes. But he's innocent until proven guilty. So New Hampshire, Michigan, and Arizona shouldn't even look at the 14th Amendment. If he's convicted of an insurrection, because we got to bring that out too, because him being convicted of other crimes does not stop him from running for president. The only one that stops him is the insurrection. Now, this leads to another question. Is this what this whole indictment thing's about? Because they're pushing it. It's 6 weeks for that trial. They want to bring out all the facts and the evidence. Maybe this is how they're trying to stop Donald Trump. This is possibly how they're trying to stop him. But this whole, we're going to keep Trump off the ballot, no, that's unconstitutional. Until it's proven, or until he's found guilty of being an insurrectionist, he needs to stay on that ballot. And I'm not just saying that because I want Donald Trump as president. That's just logic, in my humble opinion. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take a break. I'll be right back in a few moments. How you doing, everyone? Isaac here. I'm the Cajun Conservative, and I want to thank Brother Lanny Hayes from Hayes' Dump Truck Service for their generous support of the Cajun Conservative and Brothers Just Searching. Hayes' Dump Truck Service serves the Lafayette and surrounding areas. If you have any job that you need done, like cleanup or hauling material to your job site or your home, we haul limestone, we haul sand, we haul topsoil, any type of material you need.
If you're in the Lafayette and surrounding areas, please call Brother Lanny Hayes at 337-852-8043. Remember, Hayes' Dump Truck Service, where Jesus is Lord of the company.
Cleansed and made us whole. Not one hoof, not one soul.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second segment of the Cajun Conservative Show today. Trump, talking about Trump's legal problems, Trump said today, well, at the time of this recording, we got the story earlier that he would absolutely take the stand and testify in his own defense. So he's going to be there anyway, so why not? And it really don't matter. So I fixed my headphones. It really don't matter what Donald Trump says. If Donald Trump, says, hey, I'm not guilty, people are still going to say, well, he's guilty. He's guilty. He's an insurrectionist. He shouldn't be president no more because he went ahead and had classified documents, which every other president before him did. Joe Biden, Vice President Pence, it was said that Barack Obama, well, I don't know if they looked into Barack Obama, but a lot of other presidents did worse than taking documents from the White House. Oh, Donald Trump and his son-in-law, they colluded with other countries and to get money, and Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, But yeah, Donald Trump said, hey, I'll gladly take the stand. And look, this is why I'm going to come to the point with this. Man, it would be hard to convict Donald Trump on that. Because see, if I'm a juror, and I've made this point already, Donald Trump would not get a fair trial nowhere in the United States because everybody knows him. They're plastering all what they have on the television. The Justice Department can leak whatever they want, but Donald Trump can't say nothing. Everybody has an opinion, so it's hard to really pick impartial jury. But that's me, if a man says, hey, I'll stand up on the stand and I'll talk, I'll talk in my own defense. He's not hiding nothing. And that's what I'm thinking, really, that this might be their play. Look, Donald Trump ain't hiding nothing. It's the same thing with the impeachment trial that happened, the first impeachment trial, not the last one, but the first impeachment trial of Donald Trump. If you remember, they were like, it was a quick pro quo. Oh, Donald Trump did a quick pro quo against Ukraine, and they pull him out because he broke the Constitution. And they were making all kind of accusations against Donald Trump, and Donald Trump said, well, I'm going to release the transcript of the call. That whole transcript should have stopped the impeachment inquiry. It didn't, though. They still pushed on with the impeachment. And ladies, like I said, look, they can have somebody come up and say, look, I'm the one that did the insurrection. I set this all up. They will still say that Donald Trump, somewhere or another, had caused that insurrection because of the big lie. And like, they never lied. They did all little things with a halo. Like I said, it's going to be hard. Like I said, if I was a juror, now, like I said, I'm partial. I think this is all a kangaroo court. I think it's a political witch hunt. I believe it's politically motivated. I just believe all that. So I wouldn't be a good juror. So like I said, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about COVID-19. First Lady Joe Biden tests positive for COVID-19 for a second time. Now, Dr. Jill Biden, First Lady, has been fully vaccinated. She has been kept up with all the regulations and all that stuff, and she catches COVID for a second time. Now, this has led the White House to start implementing COVID mandates again. The president has said he will mask up again and social distance. Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about this the other day, and they're starting to implement social distancing and mask mandates for the White House to protect Joe Biden. Now, Joe Biden has been getting tested for a little while now, and it's the protocols and stuff like that. But the White House isn't the only one doing this. A Maryland public elementary school reinstates COVID mask requirements, demands third graders to wear a N95 mask. Now, ladies and gentlemen, COVID is unfortunately here to stay. It's not going to go nowhere. It's going to be it's going to be like the common flu, unfortunately. Because you let something like that get out, it's not going to go ahead and go away. And look, ladies and gentlemen, we dealt 2 years with COVID, where we had to wear masks and we had to go ahead and do social distancing. We had to do all kind of stuff for our health. But ladies and gentlemen, we know a lot more about COVID now than we did 2 years ago. We didn't know. The government told us, hey, you need a mask up, which Dr. Fauci first said, oh, masks won't help. And then all of a sudden says, no, you got to wear 2 masks, 3 masks, 4 masks, a whole box of masks to stop the spread of COVID-19. And ladies and gentlemen, it has hit. Some of my friends have had COVID-19 again. But ladies and gentlemen, I remember telling you about a video I seen from a highly controversial person talking about how they're trying to bring this back up. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not massing up. I said this a while back. I'm going to say it again. Look, the government can come in and say, hey, you got to wear a boot over your face. I'm not doing it. Because ladies and gentlemen, first off, in my opinion, masks don't work. And it's just not my opinion. There's scientific people, doctors and scientists that said, no, it won't work. But ladies and gentlemen, they're trying to push it again. And it's starting little by little. It started with the White House. It started with these elementary schools. It started with movie sets. We talked about a movie studio talking about doing it the other day. And ladies and gentlemen, it's slowly coming back. And if people in America are so ignorant to put masks back on their face and to stay in their house because they're afraid of a sickness, it's wrong. And this is concerning Dr. Fauci, because we're starting to hear more about Dr. Fauci, because last time we heard about him, he was talking about resigning and leaving after this term, or after the next, he wouldn't come back for the next president. And if it's Donald Trump, I don't think Donald Trump would ask him if he was the last person on earth that would want to take that job. But Dr. Fauci, and this is according to Fox News, Fauci is concerned that people won't comply if masking recommendation returns. I hope they abide. Why? Why? It just don't make sense. And look, it goes to the point of like Dr. Joe Biden or First Lady Joe Biden. This woman is fully vaccinated. This woman did everything the government told her to do. And she's still getting COVID-19. A mask will not work. You know what a mask is to the government right now? It's compliance. Hey, those are the people that are going to listen to us no matter what we say. And I'm sorry, it might offend you. It might hurt your feelings. But guess what? This crazy Cajun from South Louisiana is not going to wear a mask. I've already told multiple people that if Walmart or these big box stores tell us, oh, you can't shop here because you're not wearing a mask and you got to social distance. Well, I'm not going to spend my money with you. Learn from Target. Don't tick off the people that are providing you your food and your money for your company. I would hope that if we get to that point that the volume of cases is such and organized like the CDC organizations like the CDC recommends, CDC does not mandate anything. That's baloney. When COVID-19 was hitting in 2020, the government told us we could not go to church and we had to wear masks. Guess what? I'm going to church and I'm not wearing a mask. But Fauci's scared. He told CNN that I would hope that people abide by those recommendations and take into account the risk to themselves and their families. A mask does not work. Not for COVID-19, at least. Ladies and gentlemen, they're trying to see who will comply and who won't. Like I said, a very controversial person the other day said he met with some federal agents. And those federal agents told him that by December, it's going to be full-blown COVID protocol. And you know what's sad? I live in a state where we have a governor that would tell everybody that you need to go ahead and comply with the CDC. I'm sorry, folks. I'm not wearing a mask. This is about control. And like, I have to bring my blood pressure down because, ladies and gentlemen, 2020, this country was forced to shut down. I understand we didn't know about the virus. We didn't know what was going on. But we had Walmart and Home Depot and every other big box store open with X's for you to stand on so you wouldn't get the virus. But we couldn't do the same for churches because COVID-19 was if you went to a church and a closed church, you would get sick. You would get. And then put preachers in jail because they did not comply with the COVID-19 regulations. Dr. Fauci saying the CDC never forced anyone to wear a mask. Really? I remember you couldn't go outside without. You had to wear a face shield. You had to have the plexiglass over the teller or the person that was behind the counter, the cashier. The CDC never, ever told people they have to wear a mask. They just recommended. I wish they would have told us that in 2020. Ladies and look, it just stopped. Look, I remember early this year. I'm gonna give you a personal story. I remember earlier in the year, I went to the dentist, and this was a government-run facility that the dentist and all that stuff. And this was in the beginning of 2023. I walked in there and they told me I had to wear a mask. The second time I went, they were like, "Oh, the government lifted it." Well, if it wasn't a recommendation, if it was a recommendation, I don't have to wear a mask. Oh, but it's a government building. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not wearing. I'm sorry. Like I said, I might tick some people off, especially liberals. But I'm not gonna wear a mask. I'm not gonna wear that junk. I could hear the liberals on YouTube right now. Ah! And look, I pray for Joe Biden. I'm gonna make that point. I pray for Joe Biden. I hope Joe Biden makes a full recovery. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not about a sickness no more. Because look, Joe Biden, the only way Joe Biden won in 2020, he stayed in his basement. He didn't go to no campaign events. He didn't go out there and talk with people. He had to talk through a Zoom call and making statements that would make you scratch your head. And look, I hope not, but is that, hey, if there's another sickness, we can keep him in the basement and then he can go ahead and campaign that way. I hope not. I'm just, ladies and gentlemen, I don't understand the point of this. Like the story I told you earlier, Maryland Public School making third graders wear masks. My son's in third grade right now. I can't see that dude wearing a mask. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to say it, this is our country. It's so backwards right now. It's unreal. And ladies and gentlemen, we need something. We need something to change in this country, and not for the bad, for the good. And I'm just, I can't say it enough. I'm trying to mince my words to go ahead and I'm not wearing a mask. And look, social accounts can tell me, well, you're telling people not to wear a mask, so guess what, we're gonna take you off. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of a country, or let me correction. I'm tired of a political party thinking that they got all the power and they can go ahead and tell people of this country to do what they say because they're in leadership, when they forget that the piece of paper that's behind me right here says "We the people." I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to church. I'm not wearing a mask. And we're going to shut your church down. Well, go ahead and shut it down. We'll try to shut it down. Because we have a First Amendment right. It's time for American citizens to stand up for their rights. And see, they know there's some people that are out there that's going to do what they want them to do. I seen it the other day. I laughed. My brother and me was in the dump truck, and I was laughing my butt off. He's like, "What you laughing at?" I said, "I just saw two people riding in a car with masks, one with a face shield." And I'm thinking to myself, it's not even like 2020. Nobody's wearing a mask. But these people, and I knew right then and there, they voted for Joe Biden. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a break. I need to cool off. I'll be right back in a few moments, so stay tuned.
Cheers and good on you, boys and girls. My name is Scott Ford, and I have a show on Rumble. It's the Scott Ford Show, all one word. The Scott Ford Show, all one word, and it's on Rumble. I'd be very happy if you went ahead and subscribed, like Isaac. I'm a true American-loving patriot. Thank you, Isaac. God bless. Enjoy your life.
You're my peace of mind. When this old world seems to get me down.
It's funny that I played that song right there. I'm just welcome back to the third segment, by the way. It's funny how I play that song right there. We were just talking about mass and everything. I wish people would put their trust in Jesus as much as they put their trust in the mass. Because look, a mass don't work. I will say that all the day long. And I can hear people go, so this certain science is saying. Okay, you can go ahead and do that. But you see all these people. Look, think how the left works. Okay, I believe in Jesus. I believe he's 100% real. He is historical fact. He's in my life. He has given me everything I needed to survive. Okay? Oh, you're super religious. You're living in a fantasy world. The government says, hey, wear a mask and it's not going to get you sick. Oh, yes. Okay. And they put the mask on their face. And then you have Dr. Fauci, put on two. Put on a shield. Put on this, put on that. And they, oh, yes. And they put it on. I wish people had faith like that for Jesus. Because I think if we had faith like that for Jesus, we would have a great country. But people put their faith and trust in a piece of cloth or a paper, something, and this is not gonna get me sick. When it's been proven, even Dr. Fauci, there's a video out there where Dr. Fauci said masks don't help. Until they were like, what are you doing? Oh yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, masks work. And he had to change his tune. I don't get the American people. Well, some, not all. Like this audience, you're well informed if you're listening to this show, and if this is your first time, keep listening. You're gonna get informed because that's what's hurting us right now. Uninformed voters. People that go to a voting box and vote for somebody with a D behind their name because they don't care diddly squat. Or they say, well, my parents were Republican, I'm going to vote Republican. I can go both ways with that. You vote for a Republican because you're like, oh, well, my parents were, I'm going to vote for the first one. You need to be informed. My goodness, man. I just wish, because that's, and I was listening to that song while I was coming in. You're my hope, you're my strength, you're my peace of mind. He's our healer, he's our lawyer, he's our doctor. I just wish people had faith like Jesus, like that for Jesus. then this, we're going to believe in a mask, and our mask is going to throw all our troubles away. You have Dr. Fauci. I hope they comply. No, it's we the people, not we the government. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't say more than I'm not wearing a mask. They can go ahead and say what they want about me and this show, and I'm not wearing a mask. And like I said, I'm sorry I'm going back to it. My mind is baffled that Dr. Fauci made the comment, the CDC never required people to wear a mask. Really? Remember in 2020, try to go run in a Walmart. You had the greeters, like afraid to say, "Hey, wear a mask," and they're like, "What? You got? No, thank you. I'm just. I don't hardly go to Walmart right now, anyway. But Walmart says, "Oh yeah, we're putting a mask mandate to protect our customers." Well, you can protect all the liberals that walk through that door. I'm not going through. That's a hot button topic for me. Wearing a mask, and look, you know what? I know I need to get on my next subject, but I'm going to say something where I heard Dan Bongino said. If you, the American citizen, if you're watching this or you're listening to this, and you go ahead and say, "Well, we gotta wear a mask. Oh, we gotta wear a mask," you are part of the problem. Because you're complying and you're listening to everything the government is telling you to do. We as American citizens need to stand up for our rights. Because when the government takes our rights away, there's no chance of us getting it back. The last time they had a war to happen. I don't want that to happen in this country. You need to stand up for your rights. All right, moving on. Hunter Biden's special counsel to seek indictment. This came out earlier today, yesterday, where Hunter Biden is expected to be indicted on federal gun charge by the end of September. Special counsel David Weiss team told U.S. District Judge Marilyn Narcotti on Wednesday. The judge had set Wednesday as a deadline to hear from both sides about how to move forward on the deposition agreement that would have allowed Hunter Biden to avoid jail time for a felony charge of lying on a federal farm when purchasing a firearm in 2018. The expected change comes after the original plea agreement collapsed in July. Hunter Biden was expected to plead guilty in July to 2 misdemeanor tax counts and willful failure to pay for federal income tax as part of the plea deal to avoid jail time on a federal gun charge. But that's when the judge declined the plea deal. Now all of a sudden, Hunter Biden is facing an indictment. Now, indictment, again, does not prove that he is guilty. The issue with him to the plea agreement saying, hey, I'm guilty of tax evasion and this gun charge. Don't put me in jail. That is just, that whole plea deal was a piece of baloney. But yeah, so Hunter Biden is probably going to be indictment on the gun charge. Now, I did post a video on TikTok yesterday, and I brought this out, and one of my followers asked me, well, what about the tax invasion? That isn't up. I didn't see this. Now, like I said, I haven't done too much research into this. Like I said, this is a brand new story. I'm going to probably hear more about it. We've been following the Hunter Biden case since the beginning of time, it seems like. But Hunter Biden is going to probably be indicted at least on this. Does this prove that he's guilty? No, he's still got to go through trial. So he's innocent until proven guilty. And a lot of people might be saying, wait, you're saying this? No, I think he's guilty. But what I think don't matter. He got to go in front of a judge and a jury. So I'm not going to say he's guilty. But at the same time, I can tell you what I think he did wrong. And I believe he did wrong. But on that note, when I saw this, I was surprised because David Weiss wrote the plea deal and he presented it to the judge. And if it wasn't for the judge, his plea deal would have happened. He would have had full immunity. I don't know if David Weiss thought of that or what was going on. So I want to see why they're all of a sudden indicting him and seeing what's happening. Will they do a good case and will they do a good job on trials? See, that's another thing too. You know, they can come out and botch this whole thing where the jury's going to be like, oh, he's not guilty. Because, see, that could happen too, mind you. Like, a lot of people say, well, God can hear the liberals. If it happens, he's not guilty. Oh, he's not guilty. And we start examining the prosecutor's tactics and his arguments. And if it's a botch, if it's a botched trial, or the prosecutor, we're not going to use that evidence. We don't think that's instrumental in court, or we don't think that's relevant to the case, and it was critical evidence. So we got to see what happens. Like I said, it is good that Hunter Biden is going to be indicted. At least we know he's going to get a trial, but we would have to see. We'd have to see what happens. We have to see what happens. Like I said, it's a big story right now. So my next story for this segment will be that Mitch McConnell says he will finish Senate term after freezing up scare. So Mitch McConnell made the statement early Wednesday, announced that he intends to stay in office for the remainder of his term after the lawmaker's second freeze up last week. The 81-year-old lawmaker, standing before a group of his GOP colleagues on Capitol Hill, brushed off a reporter who asked him to respond to people who are calling for him to step down and whether he plans to retire. Mitch McConnell said, I have no announcements to make on that subject. McConnell said with a chuckle, I'm going to finish my term as leader. I'm going to finish my Senate term. He added, cutting off a follow-up question before walking away. Ladies and gentlemen, 81-year-old man. And I'm going to say it again. I don't care if they're a Republican. I don't care if they're a Libertarian. I don't care if they're a Democrat. I don't care if they're the most conservative person on there. Our 81-year-old man should not be running in office. The age limit should be 80. And the only excuse for that rule is if you run and you're 78 years old, if you win, that's got to be your last term. But ladies and gentlemen, Washington D.C. ain't a town full of leaders. It's it's an old folks' home. That the District of Columbia, the place where our nation's capital is. It's no longer this is not the District of Columbia, the capital. Let's just put it. It's no longer a place of leadership. It's a nursing home. They should put their old folks' home for wealthy politicians. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, the one that from California, she's in a wheelchair and she fell a couple of times. I can't think of her name right now. Or put hospital on it because they got John Featherman there, and they ladies and gentlemen, this isn't an old social club. These are supposed to be our leaders. And Mitch McConnell freezing up is not a good sign of him being healthy. Now, his physician, or the Capitol physician, did come out and say, no, he is fit to serve. Doc, I'm not going to go ahead and question your degree. I'm not going to question your ability to be a doctor because I'm not a doctor, but the man is not fit to serve. 81-year-old person. I'm just, and look, this goes up. And look, I'm not trying to say older folk are not wise, because they are. I heard an old saying that when an older person passes on, that is a book that closes that nobody will be able to open up again. And that is true. That is so true. Look, I have a lot of older friends that are up in age. I love hearing their stories. I love, hearing their wisdom, them giving us advice as young people. The Bible even says that. The Bible says, listen, the older man teach the young man how to live. Paul said that in one of his epistles. So I'm not against that. But ladies and gentlemen, when you have a person standing on the podium and just looks at you like, and freezes up, and they're like, "Sir, you okay, sir?" And he's not responding to nobody. And look, as a conservative and as a Republican, we got to call it out. Because I know there's a lot of conservatives and a lot of Republicans. They're podcasters and commentators and stuff like that. They're pundits, and they're so quick to criticize Joe Biden for his age and his capability of being president, but they will not touch Mitch McConnell. And look, I'm sorry. That's how I feel. And like I said, people might get mad at me for this episode. I'm just being bluntly honest tonight at this time of this episode. Because, ladies and gentlemen, a man freezing up like that is not right. What if he freezes up on a key political vote? What if he freezes up in the middle of writing a bill? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. All right, let's move on. So there was a court case that went in front of the in front of the courts, and it was told by Alabama, I think it was the Supreme Court, that they had to go ahead and write a second minority district. Now this is from Politico, a left-leaning newspaper, but they did a good job writing an article. A federal court struck down Alabama congressional map on Tuesday, after GOP state lawmakers refused the court mandate to draw a second majority black district. The three-judge panel wrote that it was deeply troubling that the state legislators declined to draw a second minority black district. The same court ruled last year that it should draw a second majority black district to comply with the Voting Rights Act. The Supreme Court affirmed the ruling from the lower court early this year. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you some background on this. Yes, the Supreme Court said it was wrong. They violated the law and all that stuff, and that Alabama's state lawmakers had to go ahead and do a second minority district. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a problem with this. When Democrats are in charge of a state, they have the governor, they have the lieutenant governor, they have the legislature, they got all of that. They got all that. And it's time for redistricting. They do everything in their power to draw the districts where it would favor them. Oh, and I can hear my friends on the left. Oh, no, Isaac, the Democrats never do that. Really? What about Pennsylvania in 2021, if I'm not mistaken? Where majority, the way Pennsylvania was written after a Democrat governor took over and a Democrat legislation took over, they drew the lines. No, it wasn't 2021. Correction. It was right before the 2020 election. Because Republicans were mad that they drew the district the way that it would favor Joe Biden in the 2024 election. But you didn't hear that case going up to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. You didn't hear that going up to federal court. You didn't hear that at all. Because Republicans do what Republicans do best, unfortunately. They sat on their hands and didn't do a dang thing. But you didn't hear that going to courts. You didn't hear that. You didn't hear Pennsylvania fighting over that. Why? Because, unfortunately, it was Democrats that did it. And it's always funny how Democrats always get their way. I'm just saying. Well, now we got Alabama. That is a Republican state. The Republicans have the whole majority. And they go ahead and draw the lines. Was it right? Was it wrong? You can have your own opinion on that. But they draw a map. Now it's the biggest thing since sliced bread. Oh, I can't believe that Alabama's going to do that. And they go bring it up to federal court, and federal judges say, oh, you broke a law. You got to have to apply with. Now, if my memory serves me correct, and I could be wrong, I'm not a lawyer. But if I'm not mistaken, I thought that states had more power than the federal government. I could be wrong on that. But I'm just, why these judges are saying, hey, and look, the Supreme Court ruled on it. It was a blow. But these Alabama state, the state is saying, hey, look, no, we want these districts the way it's drawn. Now, I understand the numbers. You have to go look at it. Like I said, I'm not part of the legislation. But ladies and gentlemen, it bothers me when a federal judge or federal judges tells a state that you need to go and do it this way. Now, I understand because some people might say with the abortion case and stuff like that, with Roe v. Wade. Well, Roe v. Wade was overturned for the whole nation. It brought it back to the states. It gave more power back to the states. And if you've been looking at a lot of legislation that has been coming out of these states that are pro-life, they're getting challenged on that premise. It's unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional. And the thing of it is, it's going back to the state. It depends on the state. Now, I know what the Voting Act was trying to do, was trying to make equal rights for the 60s and stuff like that. I agree with all that. But ladies and gentlemen, why it's okay when the Democrats do it in Pennsylvania, but when Alabama does it to benefit them, it's bad all of a sudden to do it. It's wrong. Why it's okay for the Democrats to do it, but not when the Republicans do it. And look, we find the same thing here in Louisiana. There is some in our legislation that think, well, we need to go ahead and make a second minority district. And Louisiana's like, no, we're going according to the numbers. But it's funny how Democrats fight tooth and nail, and Republicans sit on their hands and don't do diddly squat. Like I said, I'm raw tonight, guys. I'm sorry. Because the time this recording is late, I might be tired. I'm just going off the cuff. But I'm tired of the double standards. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired that Democrats can go ahead and federal judges, oh, y'all did all right. Good job, T-Beb, as we say here in Cajun country. But when Republicans are like, hey, we're going to do the same thing. Oh, all of a sudden, it's wrong and the Constitution forbids it. But it was constitutional when Pennsylvania did it. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a double standard. And look, do I agree with everything with the Supreme Court? No, because I disagree with them on this case right here. But ladies and gentlemen, Alabama's saying we're not going to bend. Now, according to this article, that the courts are going to draw out the districts now, and Alabama will have to follow them. Alabama, stand strong. Alabama Republicans, y'all stand strong. Don't sit on your hands and knees. Go. Hey, stand up. And look, I can hear people listening. He's not listening to the cards. The Democrats don't do it either. Biden was told by the Supreme Court, hey, it's Congress that goes ahead and holds the money. You can't bail out people. And guess what? He's bailing out people anyway. You don't see Politico write an article and say, oh, President Biden can't do that. That's wrong. But you see when a Republican does something that Politico don't like, oh, they're not listening to the court. They're being rebellious. I'm just tired of the double standard. It's sad. So with that being said, we're finishing. This show is about to wrap up. And as always, I want to thank you, the listener, for spending a little bit of quality time with me on this episode. It is always an honor and a blessing to come spend some time with you here on the Cajun Conservative Show. All I ask in return is to give me a like, give me a share, and tell your friends and family, and also subscribe or follow, depending on the platform you're listening on. With that being said, I want to thank Marty Melee for Attorney General. And I want to thank Give-A-Derm for their help out with the show. I want to go ahead and thank everyone else that has helped out along the way. Hayes' Dump Truck Service, to the artists that are on this show for the bumper music, Eric Hayes, Lanny Hayes, and Phil Kennedy. Thank y'all guys. This show wouldn't be here without you guys. Well, it probably would be here, but it'd be dull with no music. I like music. I like listening to this stuff. And also to everybody that supports this show and has been here from day one and beyond, thank y'all for continuing listening to the show. with that being said, remember that Jesus Christ is King. He's coming back, and he's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has overcome the world. If you know Jesus, your Lord and Savior, reach out to me, and I'll tell you how to make Jesus your Savior and have it in your home. Until next time, be blessed, be encouraged, my friends, my family. You have a good one.
And he is the open door.